Leo, welcome into your reading. We're going to be doing a general reading, and we'll take a look at your recent past and your present and your future. And then we'll also take a look into the cauldron cards and find out what kind of stuff we need to pull out of there to maybe work on. Today we're going to be doing the reading over the top of the strength card. The archetype strength is associated with Leo, the patient one. So let's get into the reading here and find out what's going on. So, Leo, born between July 23rd and August the 22nd. Leo is ruled by the sun, the celestial body of vitality, identity, and divine radiance. So, we start off with the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands, okay? So we have an offering coming in. The Knight of Pentacles is the logical one, okay? The Knight of Pentacles is sitting in the masculine position here. So there's an action. This could be somebody coming towards you with some kind of an offering. Maybe, it's in the feminine position. The Ace of Wands is. So the Ace of Wands is another type of offering. Some exhilaration, some passion, some fire, more fire signs. So Ace of Wands is definitely a fire sign too. So we've got some passion going on here from the very beginning. Then we follow up by the Nine of Cups and the Page of Swords. I want to take a look at why the Nine of Cups is here. The Nine of Cups in the upright position is kind of like, I've got some you're manifesting things here in this third position, by the way, but in the upright position, the Nine of Cups represents kind of like, all of my things that I've collected in my life or my successes and what have you. But it also symbolizes kind of a temporary type situation. So I kind of feel like you're wondering if this is a temporary thing here because the Nine of Cups is in the reversed position here. So I'm going to take a look at that, find out why. There's a dissatisfaction and overindulgence, maybe. Discontent, greed and imbalance, frustration. All right, Leo, talk to me here. What do we... It's followed up by the Page of Swords. Now, there's a kind of a new experience here, a youthful experience taking place. This was all in the recent past, I suppose. But the Page of Swords in the reversed position kind of is like a lack of communication. We are talking about a communication sign there. So, wondering, gossip, immaturity, overthinking, superficiality, recklessness, okay? Okay, so Leo, maybe in the recent past you had a relationship that you kind of saw through. Um, and you saw that it was maybe not as, the Knight of Pentacles sitting in the logical position here. This is when you make a plan, you stick to it kind of attitude. And I don't know, maybe you put an end to this. Let's take a look at the present moment here. What are we in right now? Is there an offering coming in towards you with this person maybe making a change? Maybe you guys had a heart to heart and was like, hey, I can't do this drinking or this drugs, or I'm not about this type of attitude, or overindulgence. Could be overspending. It could be, just about any kind of overindulgence, so to speak. But it's got you walking away. Yeah, you're manifesting to walk away here. So let's talk about it. The World card talks about the cycles of life, right? The starting of something new and the ending. And I'm going to guess because the World is in the masculine position, the active position, you put an end to the cycle. Okay. And I feel like maybe you're in your head about it a little bit because it's followed by the Moon card. Okay. And the Moon is talking about, a transformation. It's talking about You see the two towers here, you know, it's the unseen, the unknown. It is the shadow self. It is also an enlightenment type card, spirituality wise. And perhaps this kind of left you in this frame of mind of like, oh no, not again, right? Like, how many times I got to do this kind of crap? But in the third position, you've manifested this walking away. And I feel like maybe you feel a little bound up about it, right? With the Eight of Swords. But let's not go too crazy on this card, because realize that this is your choice. You're choosing to put these blinders on, so to speak, because maybe you feel like a little overwhelmed. Maybe you feel like a little, um, what did I do? Or, you know, is this you know, I don't know. You're just getting in your head about it. Realize you can take these blinders off at any time. There's a beautiful castle right behind her here. There's no swords behind her. All she got to do is turn around and walk there. So this kind of tells about a choice here. I don't mean this to sound, you know, I'm not trying to sound like a big D here, but the truth is that you're choosing to wear this because it hurts, right? The pain. Um, you know, relationships are that way, right? Like sometimes we wear other people's problems. Sometimes we, you know, maybe we carry a lot of emotions. The Leo sign is very passionate. So, but I also know that they're a fixed sign, meaning they don't like change. And, you know, change can be tough, right? So let's go on into the future here. What does Leo, what's Leo's future going to look like? We are looking about a future of balance, okay? That's right. Look here. See? The Six of Pentacles talks about that, a balance, a generous spirit, generous energy, giving. And perhaps that's what you needed. You know, this was not giving to you. This relationship was not giving back. It was not reciprocating. But it's followed by the Two of Cups, and that is a unity card. And that's a beautiful card. So in your future, look forward to this, okay? This companionship, this unity, this coming together. But I think it's kind of warning you here with this manifest inside that you've had some battles. This was a battle, just one of your battles, you know. But the World card talks about that, the beginning and the ending, okay, of all these cycles, right? And this is a new one, right? A new beginning of a new cycle, and this is the ending of another. So while the World card reciprocates from beginning to ending, so does relationships, so does finances, so does, you know what I mean? Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, sometimes when we're in it, I mean, we're in it for a while. But sometimes when we're out of it for a while, and that's just the way it is. But try not to bring that load with you. You know, I mean, I know that's when you're in it, right? It's a little bit easier to say that than to do that, but that's really what this is asking you to do, is focus on that. So in the future, the burden here, you know. Okay, then that the Ten of Wands is then followed by the Queen of Wands. Okay, and the Queen of Wands is really like, I think maybe you're right now in the present looking out, questioning, and that's why the Queen of Wands falls here, because she is the question, right? She is the mystery card. She is black cat magic. What's underneath all this? Where's this going? And but it's also asking to take a look at your intuitive side and really kind of continue to follow your heart, because the Queen of Wands has a nurturing aspect about her too. Um, and she's in the reverse position, so we're going to take a look at why this Queen of Wands is in the reversed position here. I'm feeling like self-doubt, the jealousy and the insecurity is over, that cycle of that what you went through is gone. So um you may be feeling a little bit of resentment, you're hurt, right? And control, temperamental maybe, but I feel like it's the self-doubt. And the reason I say that is because we did have the Ten of Wands over here, right? And of course, you know you would be carrying some of this. We all carry those types of energies. It's just whether or not we choose to focus on them. Okay, so over here on the far right, we're going to take a look out of the cauldron. What do we need to work on? What can we as I say that, we're looking at the Eight of Pentacles, and that's putting your head down into your work, into yourself, into your spirituality, healing. And we do see that in this position. But it's also kind of like this, you just know it's going to take some time, right? Um, Time to heal, time to, gather your thoughts again, to gain control. I mean, I'm seeing that all in those four cards, or the three cards right there already, because, you know, this is kind of an internal commotion that's taking place in obvious reasons. But it's also in between the Ace of Swords, this, you know, kind of like a lost feeling, a stagnant feeling, moving forward out of this situation. But you're moving into a beautiful scenario here. It's just really asking to watch this right here. This is all I'm seeing is this Ten of Wands. It's, am I going to carry over this into this new relationship that we're seeing over here with the Two of Cups? And this relationship could be work related. It could be, a spiritual relationship also, right? Um, but I feel like it's relationship related because we started off with the Knight and the Ace, and then the Nine of Cups, and so you were putting an end to into that cycle. But there's good news, right? Because the Ace of Swords is here. It's coming in. That's communication. That is a definite coming in. Okay. And then we're followed with the Five of Wands, which is kind of an internal conflict, is what I feel like. It's taking control. See, in this prediction here, nobody's really taking control. They're not necessarily beating the crud out of each other here. That's not the case. It's just that there's just lack of control. Nobody's in charge. So it's the Queen of Wands is telling you in this scenario to get your emotional self in control, and it's followed by the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better ending on that Cauldron card, because the Queen is grounded, and that's what she's telling you. It's just getting yourself grounded again. Things are up in the air, and you've been in a situation where um maybe, like I said, you came out of it, but I feel like your energy is really, really good. Surprisingly enough, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this was not like a short-term relationship or something like that. It could. I mean, you're you guys are passionate. You're lovers, and that's the case. But I feel like you're seeing that. I liked it. I liked the reading. I mean, really, it's I feel like really that Ten of Wands is kind of going to be your um. I feel like that's something you need to watch. Like not letting what your past relationship was fall into your new relationship, right? I mean, come in. I would say be cautious and not step into it until you can trust yourself, right? Because you don't want to start any kind of relationship up with a mask on or of any kind, no kind at all. So be authentic, be your sovereign self, gather your thoughts, isolate if you have to, but don't do it for long, because I feel like your energy is so beautiful. You're still willing to love and still willing to go towards something. And that's what life is. It's karmic sometimes. And I know we're all looking for that wonderful one person, but sometimes, and I don't mean to take away from anything from love, but sometimes relationships in themselves are the experiences that we're really looking for. It's just sometimes it's very unfortunate that they end up in some of the chaotic ways that they do, in tyrannous ways. But I know from relationship wise, when I look back, I go, I can't blame anybody that I was ever with for anything that was my problem. From the beginning, we all have issues that we are trying to work on, and sometimes in karmic relationships, you just get two opposing forces there that just never can seem to come together, right? But that's life too, and it's beautiful. And I know I can look back and say how beautiful, my experiences were, and I appreciate every one of them. So, Leo, I feel like this is a beautiful reading. It's got a lot of potential. So just watch the Ten of Wands, okay? Stay in your lane. Take off the masks. Be authentic. Be sovereign. set your boundaries of who you are, and what you will be, and um, enjoy and love and passion and fire and flame, all that's coming, all that's there. So wonderful read. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the reading. So if you did, let me know and come back and see me again.